Welcome to this week's energy forecast. I am Rachel Thompson Phillips, the creator of the BU Oracle cards, and that's what we will be using to do this week's energy forecast. This week's energy is for August the 5th through to August the 11th, and this week's overall theme is about self-assessment. Let's go in and discover what messages are coming through with the Oracle cards. On Monday and Tuesday is the card of solitude. Wednesday through till Friday is the card of empowerment, and Saturday and Sunday is the card of reflection. With Monday and Tuesday being the card of solitude, there is a beautiful element that's coming through. But we've just had Mercury retrograde, new moon. There are so many massive changes and subtle cues that are asking you to go within to just be able to assess where you're at. We always consider that the answers that we seek are outside of ourselves, but they are actually within. And so Monday and Tuesday, you've been really encouraged to go within, access that soulful truth within your own self, and just start having a look at some of those things that you would like to make subtle changes around. Always remember, you're never too old to try something new. Every single day is an opportunity to start and create something new or do something new. But this coming week, we're being encouraged to just sort of go within and find out what it is that we want to find change. What is it that we do want new? How is it that we would like to live our life? What is the form of embodiment that we would love to start really tapping into? And we access all of that beautiful information from simply going within. Wednesday through till Friday with the card of empowerment is, I always believe that there is, when we gain even more beautiful access into our own soulful truth, to understanding who we are on various multiple different layers and levels, that it does bring up a level of vulnerability, because it makes us realize that sometimes we can see through our own excuses, that we can see where sometimes we may have been holding ourselves back. And when we gain access to that, it's an incredibly beautiful moment, because it makes us realize just how incredibly powerful we are. And so therefore it does bring up some tears, but they're tears of cleansing, tears of letting go, tears of change, because we're no longer fighting with the old. We're actually allowing ourselves to attune to the old, but recognize that there is something even more powerful coming through you, that is wanting to be validated, that is no longer able to be suppressed anymore. And so therefore this vulnerability, this strength starts coming in. Also too, on the 8th, which is Thursday, so through that period of the lion, through the period of the empowerment card, is we also have the lion gates open, which is really deepening, connecting into that lion energy, that courage, that it's just such an incredibly powerful time. I will add a link below. I'll get that out. I'll add a link below to give you even more information around what the lion gates is. And so therefore this opening period is a period of time where we start accessing information on what it is that we want to leave behind in this world, the person that we want to grow into. It's almost as if this whole veil has come down and all of a sudden a new version of you is getting reintroduced, and it's a very powerful time. And it's a beautiful moment, because that's when we start getting even more variations of ourselves coming to the surface, that we get to be able to connect in with, and be able to sometimes just reconnect to those parts of ourselves that we have kept suppressed or disconnected from. Which leads us through to the weekend's energy, which is around reflection, which is about, when we do this assessing, to do it from this objective point of view, where we're not going in and tearing ourselves apart. We're not there to, emotionally abuse yourself, is the phrase that comes to my mind. Internal reflection has been really incredibly mindful of your internal dialogue that you are having with yourself, because remember, the best relationship you can ever have is the one that you have with yourself, and that all begins with the way that you communicate. Remember, in order to create beautiful change so that your thoughts start embodying and become in alignment with the energy and the direction that you want to go in. It's not to fight the old, but to focus more on the new. And so every time you catch yourself hearing yourself say a belittling type of comment, is that moment that you just immediately just come into awareness. Be okay that that thought is there, because it's probably been there for a very long time, and so we don't want to be able to fight with it. We want to focus more on the new. So the moment that you have awareness to this is that moment that you bring through a statement that is about reminding yourself of that beautiful, magnificent person that you are, and say an affirmation 3 times over, so that the 3 times over affirmation starts to dissolve that negative connotation and starts breeding a beautiful new energetic frequency within your whole vibration. So this is how we start to embody the version that we want to. It's not just about alignment, it's about embodying the energy, embodying the frequency of that version of yourself, starting to embody the dreams, the goals, the steps that you want to be able to take in order to step fully into that embodiment of who you are growing into. And all begins with the work that we do inwards. And then as that starts to build momentum and that energetic frequency starts getting stronger and starts vibing at a higher velocity, then it starts to show up externally. But it all begins with the inner work that we do with ourselves. And so this week we really are being encouraged to go within and do that self-assessment. But remember, self-assess and also remind yourself that that self-assessment is also about being able to be very clear and honest and say, these are the things that I'm amazing at. It's not about just always picking out the things that aren't great about you. I want you to really identify and be able to say 3 times a day, what are 3 things that you're amazing at? And start tuning into that and start building that momentum of energetic frequency that is attuning to reminding yourself of your magnificent. That is our role. If we can understand our own magnificence, we understand our own worth. We start connecting into the value that we bring to this world, and therefore we start being reignited to the most soulful version of ourselves. And we all have this beautiful possession that is our soul wanting to radiate out into this world. So it's an incredibly amazing, gorgeous week this week. I'd love for you, if you'd love to share this, if this connects with you. As always, be kind, be good, treat yourself well, and much love to you all. Take care.